Have you ever opened a message from your grown child and felt your whole body tense before you even finish reading it? That was me this week. My daughter's starting over in a new city, and I've been trying to solve her life from miles away, drafting texts I shouldn't send, replaying conversations in my head, and calling it love, even though it feels like worry. Yesterday, I went to see my friend Sarah. She is 92. I asked her how to stop doing that. She smiled and said two words that honestly startled me. Let them. And she is here with me today.
Oh, Ricky, I saw you walking up the path yesterday, and I thought, there goes a man who's trying to manage the universe again. You had that little crease right between your eyebrows. You know the one. You've had it for years. And listen, I'm not teasing you because I'm above it. I'm teasing you because I recognize it. That fix-it look is very human, especially once you're 50 or 60 and you've gathered a few hard-earned lessons. You start to feel like you should be able to spare the people you love from pain because you've already paid for your own. The trouble is, worry feels like action. It feels like doing something. And if you're the kind of person who's spent a lifetime showing up, solving problems, keeping things steady, then sitting with uncertainty can feel unbearable. I used to believe my worry was a form of protection. I really did. I thought, if I stay on top of everyone, if I keep mental lists, and if I anticipate what could go wrong, then maybe nothing will go wrong. That was the deal my mind offered me. But one morning, I remember standing at the kitchen sink with my hands in the dishwater, and I had this sudden, clear moment where I realized I had 4 lives running through my head at once. One child's finances, another child's marriage, a grandson who hated his job, a friend choosing something I wouldn't have chosen. And there I was, in my own kitchen, and my tea had gone cold, because I was living 5 steps ahead of everybody else. It wasn't even dramatic. It was almost ridiculous. I just stood there and thought, Sarah, when are you going to live your actual life? We tell ourselves worry is devotion. We call it being a good mother, a good father, a good friend. But it wears you out, and it doesn't change as much as we think it does. I used to write full speeches in my head, kind versions and bossy versions, and the ones where I'd pretend to be calm, but I wasn't. By the time the phone rang, I was already tired from a conversation we never even had. And the hard truth, Ricky, is this. A lot of the weight wasn't even them. It was me. I expected myself to be the safety net under everybody's high wire. I wanted it all to be calm and tidy, with no wrong turns and no struggle that went on longer than I could handle. No one asked me to do that. I signed up on my own. Not my smartest idea. Now, here's where those 2 words come in. Let them is not indifference. It's not cold. It's not giving up. It's respect. It's respect for their road, and it's respect for your peace. Because when you hover and worry and interfere, the message underneath it, even if you don't mean it, is, I don't think you can handle this without me. But when you say, let them, what you're really saying is, I trust you. I trust that you can walk through this. And yes, you can still care. You can still love. You can still be the person they call when they need a steady voice. But you don't have to run their life from your kitchen table. You know what helped me understand it? I'll tell you about my youngest, David. You remember him. Stubborn as a nail and twice as determined. He was always covered in sawdust, that boy. So he decided one day he was going to quit his job at the bank and start a furniture business in his garage. Handmade tables, chairs, the whole thing. I didn't sleep properly for weeks. I had speeches lined up like soldiers. Think of the pension. Think of the mortgage. Be sensible. I was convinced he was about to ruin his life. And one afternoon I was complaining to my own mother, and she was 95 then, sitting there knitting like the world had all the time in it. She let me talk and talk, and then she looked up and said, "Sarah, let him." I said, "Let him what? Let him fail?" And she said, "Yes, let him fail. Let him succeed. Let him be unsure. Let him learn. Just let him." And Ricky, I'm telling you, something in my chest unclenched, because it finally occurred to me that his life belonged to him. I could love him, but I couldn't live it for him. And the funny part is, once I stopped gripping so tightly, I got my own hands back. I could hold my own cup of tea. I could sit in my own chair without that constant buzzing sense that I was on duty. Now, I want to add something important, because people forget this part and it makes the whole thing sound harsher than it is. It's not just let them, it's let them and let me. Let them make their choices, and let me return to myself. Let me breathe. Let me stop rehearsing. Let me do my morning without dragging 5 stories behind me. Let me take care of my body, my home, my mind. Let me be steady instead of frantic. That second part is where the peace really lives. And yes, you will feel the old habit rise up. You will. You'll feel the urge to call, the urge to advise, the urge to fix. That's normal. Sometimes I even catch myself doing it now, and I'm 92. I'll think, oh, I should just, and then I stop and laugh at myself. Because it's a lifetime habit. It doesn't vanish overnight. But you can change how quickly you obey it. You asked me yesterday, how do you stop your heart from racing for everyone else? I'll tell you what I do. When I notice the sprint start in my chest, I put one hand on the table and I put the other hand right over my heart, and I say it quietly, out loud if I'm alone. Let them and let me. And then I do one simple thing that belongs to me. I finish the tea while it's still warm. I open the curtain. I water the plant. I fold one towel. Something small that brings me back into my own life. Now you know me, Ricky. I also had to learn that let me sometimes means saying no. That was a big one for me. For years my yes was automatic. Need a ride? Yes. Need advice? Yes. Need me to take responsibility for your mess? Well, apparently yes. And my no was rare, and when it showed up, I apologized to it as if no was rude. But peace asks for honesty. No can be gentle. It can sound like, I love you and I can't do that for you. Or, I believe you can handle it and I'll be here after. I remember a small moment with my grandson. He wanted me to call someone to smooth over a mess he'd made. The fixer in me reached for the phone. I could feel the old Sarah stepping forward, the one who wanted everyone safe and comfortable all the time. Then I heard the two lines again, let him and let me. So I said, no, sweetheart, I won't make that call, but I'll sit with you and help you practice what to say. He was quiet for a minute. Then he said, okay, and later he told me it went fine. My no made room for his growth. And I'll tell you something else. The guilt still knocks sometimes. It does. But I treat it like an old neighbour. I nod. Hello, I see you. And then I go back to what I was doing. Guilt gets bored when you stop feeding it. Now you might like this part because it's where I learnt to laugh at my own old habits. My daughter moved away once, and I was so nervous I mailed her what I called a safety box. Tools, maps, snacks, instructions, little items I thought would prevent every possible problem. It arrived late and went mostly unopened. A little museum piece of my old worry. That box didn't protect her. It just showed how hard I was trying. What helped her in the end was not my fear, it was her own strength, and the steady love she could return to when she needed it. And that brings me to the doorway I mentioned. The day my daughter left, the hallway was tidy in that way that means goodbye. Her car was packed. I could feel the old list rise in me, reminders and cautions and warnings, like love had to be delivered in instructions. But then a simple thought came in, and it surprised me. What if love isn't a leash? What if love is just a light by the door? So I put my hand on her cheek, and I said one simple blessing, not a lecture, not a list, just one sentence that said, I'm with you, and I trust you. And then I let her go, and the quiet after said enough. That's what I mean when I say let them. It's not abandoning, it's trusting. And let me is choosing to live your own morning again, instead of living in everyone else's. Can I ask you something? If you feel comfortable, just in your own words. Where in your life are you practicing let them with someone you care about right now? It could be a child, a friend, a sibling, anyone. You don't have to explain the whole story, just a simple sentence, because it helps, you know, when we realize we're not the only ones learning this. And if you remember nothing else from what I'm saying, remember this: you can care deeply without carrying everything.